Unfortunately, Alibaba, one of the leading e-commerce platforms, is collapsing. Its stock is worth only a fraction of what it was worth when Jack Ma founded it. Beijing's clampdowns on Jack Ma have damaged his entire business. He is now being stripped of assets and being given lucrative pieces of his business to companies that are corrupt. While these actions may be temporary, they have severely damaged Ma's business. He is no longer the richest man in China, but the fourth richest, and his empire is now worth less than half of what it was just a few years ago. In August, Alibaba reported its first quarter of fiscal 2019 revenue, a $30.7 billion figure. But that figure was down 4% from the year-ago period. In the April to June period, transaction volume was down 34%. The truth is that there are still quite a few reasons why the Chinese government is out to cripple Alibaba. This video will explore what the implications are for Chinese consumers, investors, and the Xi Jinping communist government. At this point, I would like to specially invite you to subscribe to the Escapades Media channel and turn on the notification bell. You'll enjoy our mini documentaries on entrepreneurship, brands, and wealth creation. Chinese privacy laws. Earlier this year, Alibaba was accused of violating Chinese privacy laws. The Chinese government has a history of clamping down on anti-competitive practices. It has also taken a hard line against big tech companies. In a move to tighten its grip on the tech world, China's government has been imposing new regulations on the biggest players. This is part of the country's efforts to become a technology superpower. Aside from the hefty fines, about 500,000 yuan or $74,688 that Alibaba was forced to pay, the Chinese government is also enforcing new privacy rules that were passed earlier this year. These rules are designed to restrict tech behemoths from accessing foreign capital markets. The Chinese government is also using the crackdown as a means of narrowing a politically sensitive wealth gap. It wants to limit predatory pricing that exacerbates inequality in China. In the meantime, Alibaba's founder has been avoiding the public eye. He hasn't made any public statements since January 2021. Alibaba losing billions of dollars. Regulatory actions in China have hurt Alibaba, which has lost billions of dollars in market value. Besides losing market capital, it has also been hit with a fine for unfair practices. Since the crackdown began, Alibaba's stock has fallen by 43% compared to its October 2020 peak. The crackdown has disrupted China's supply chains, raised unemployment, and discouraged consumer sentiment. The central bank is concerned that Alibaba is manipulating the currency. As a result of the crackdown, Alibaba has been forced to shed its digital media assets, sell its entertainment asset, and reduce vendor fees. Alibaba has also been hit by a drop in consumer spending. Chinese regulators have launched a wide-scale crackdown on anti-competitive practices in China's tech industry. It has snared sectors from technology to education and property. It has slashed hundreds of billions of dollars off the market capitalizations of some of the country's biggest companies. Jack Ma and the Chinese Communist. Jack Ma's empire was worth more than Google and Amazon. But Beijing's clampdowns on Alibaba have damaged his net worth. He is now being stripped of assets and being given lucrative pieces of his business to companies that are corrupt. Despite the fact that Chinese tech billionaire Jack Ma has mostly disappeared from public view, he is still worth $21.7 billion in 2022. The good news is that Jack Ma retains his status as one of the richest people in the world. Ma's fortune has been built on Alibaba, the e-commerce platform he founded with 17 friends. He also has investments in various companies, such as the Yi Brothers Media Company. He is also involved in a number of charity ventures. He is on the board of the Nature Conservancy in China. Jack Ma also founded a digital payment company called Dant Financial, which now operates as Alipay. The company is the largest digital payment service in China. Its IPO was scheduled to be the largest ever in October 2020. However, Chinese regulators intervened and halted the IPO. As a result, Ma was forced to restructure the company. Will Alibaba recover? Despite a fine from China's market regulators, Alibaba has rebounded. It reported stronger than expected quarterly sales and a 5% growth in adjusted EBITDA. However, investors remain worried about the long-term outlook for the company. Chinese tech companies have been hit with a series of new laws and regulations. These laws have put pressure on the performance of companies like Alibaba and Tencent. These companies have been told to rectify their lending, wealth management, and insurance services. Beijing has started a series of investigations into Alibaba and other major tech companies. It is looking at whether these firms have violated antitrust laws. This has sent shivers through equity markets in China. Interestingly, Alibaba shares rose 15% after the company announced its quarterly results. Investors saw this as a sign that the company may have found a way out of its antitrust troubles. The firm also announced a special task force to investigate the problem. Alibaba said it was working on ways to retain merchants. It also plans to implement cost control measures to boost its margins. On the plus side, Alibaba also increased its share buyback program by $15 billion. This will likely pay off big in the future, but investors are worried about how long the company will be able to maintain growth.